Have you ever wondered what it takes to completely change your life, starting from nothing but a single dream? Imagine being laughed at by everyone, failing your first big test, feeling lost and hopeless, but then rising from the ashes to inspire an entire community. Today on Kunzy Podcast English, we'll explore the incredible true story of Za, a boy from a small village who refused to give up and transformed his destiny through sheer determination and courage. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Kunzy Podcast English, the place where inspiring stories meet English learning. I'm Kunzy, and each episode we bring you powerful tales that help you improve your English and fuel your motivation to keep pushing forward. So get ready to listen, learn, and be inspired. Part 1. Starting from poverty but filled with dreams. Za was born and raised in a small, impoverished village deep in the remote mountains where nearly everything was scarce. There was no electricity, no internet, and even books were so rare that only a few old, worn copies were shared among the community. Every day for Za was a battle against harsh circumstances, where education seemed like a luxury out of reach. But from a very young age, Za harbored a burning desire to become an English teacher. Not for money, fame, or recognition, but simply because he wanted to help the children in his village. Children like him, those who lacked access to knowledge. Za firmly believed that if he could learn English, he could open the door to a better future, not only for himself, but for those around him as well. With no private tutors or modern classrooms, Za had to rely on his own perseverance and willpower to teach himself. He sought out old English books that people gave away or sold cheaply, even though he didn't always understand their content. He also listened to English radio broadcasts whenever he had the chance, trying to imitate the pronunciation and catch every single word. On quiet evenings when the whole village had fallen asleep, Za sat by the faint light of an oil lamp, repeating English sentences over and over, patiently practicing his pronunciation in the stillness. Those were difficult yet meaningful moments for him, times when only persistence and faith in his dream kept him moving forward. The hardships of life did not discourage Za. On the contrary, they fueled his motivation even more. Whenever he faced challenges, he reminded himself, I must not give up. If I quit, who will help children like me? His dream of becoming an English teacher was no longer just a personal goal. It became a mission. From those early days, Za learned his first life lesson. Persistence and self-learning can overcome any limits, no matter how tough the circumstances. And those lessons laid a strong foundation for him to keep moving forward in life, even though the journey ahead remained long and full of challenges. Part 2. Mocked and first failure. When Za first embarked on learning English, not everyone supported him. In a poor village where education was not a top priority, Za's efforts quickly became the subject of gossip and ridicule. His peers couldn't understand why he spent so much time on something seemingly distant like English. They mocked him, criticized him, and even said he was wasting his time on something pointless. These words didn't discourage Za. Instead, they deeply wounded his spirit and caused great emotional pain. Za's first failure came with an important scholarship exam he had high hopes for. He had prepared diligently, studying tirelessly for months, but the results were disappointing. Failing the exam crushed Za's spirit, and feelings of failure and loneliness overwhelmed him. In a moment of vulnerability, Za cried, tears streaming down his face like the release of all the bottled-up emotions he had been carrying. It was the first time he truly felt the deep sorrow and pain of failure, not just academically, but the fear that his dreams might be buried forever. Yet, it was from those tears that Za found new strength. He stood up, wiped his tears, and promised himself, "I will never give up." This promise wasn't just a simple phrase. It was a solemn vow to his own life. Za understood that failure was only the first step, a necessary lesson to grow stronger and walk steadily down the long road ahead. He resolved to try again, to study harder, be stronger, and persist more than ever before. The ridicule, pain, and failure were no longer obstacles. They became the fuel driving Za forward. Most successful people have experienced such dark moments. It is the refusal to quit, the resilience to face difficulties head-on, that makes the difference. Za's story during this phase is a vivid testament to the power of will and perseverance, inspiring listeners not only to empathize, but also to find their own strength to rise after every failure in life. Part 3. Meeting the Inspirational Teacher. Miss Theory. In everyone's life, sometimes a chance encounter can completely change the path ahead. For Za, that encounter came unexpectedly when he first met Miss Theory, a teacher from the city. Miss Theory was not an ordinary teacher. She saw through the soul and the burning passion in Za's eyes from their very first meeting. In a poor rural area where educational opportunities were a luxury, Miss Theory became a shining light, discovering the hidden talent and limitless enthusiasm of this young student. Her trust and encouragement opened a new door for Za. Miss Theory didn't stop at simple words of encouragement. She became a persistent guide beside Za throughout his journey to conquer English. She sent books, exercises, and even arranged speaking practice remotely through letters, helping Za gradually improve skills he once thought unattainable. Every page of the book, every exercise was like a key expanding Za's world. From a boy with only dreams to a confident learner ready to walk steadfastly on his chosen path. With dedicated support and strong inspiration from Miss Theory, Za seemed to have been given new wings. He studied day and night, no longer afraid of failure or doubting himself. His pronunciation improved steadily, and his listening comprehension advanced significantly. Every practice session was another step forward. Every improvement a great joy and motivation for Za to keep pushing forward. This fateful meeting was a crucial turning point, not merely a transfer of knowledge, but an endless source of inspiration, helping Za believe that no matter how humble the starting point, with a guiding light and persistence, every dream can come true. This is the powerful message Za's story sends to listeners. Never underestimate the power of a teacher, for they can be the light that guides you when you feel most lost. Part 4. Winning the Scholarship. Stepping out of the village. After 3 relentless years of hard work, studying every word and phrase under the dim light of an oil lamp, Za finally received the reward he deserved, a national scholarship to study at a prestigious school in the big city. The moment he held the scholarship certificate in his hands, Za felt like he had just stepped out of the cycle of poverty and limitation. It wasn't just an opportunity to change his life, but proof that dreams can come true if you never stop trying. Yet as soon as he stepped out of his village, which had been everything to him, Za quickly realized that this new world was not as simple as he had imagined. The city unfolded before him like a vivid painting of towering skyscrapers, bustling streets filled with vehicles, and advanced technology Za had never seen before. His new classmates were well-prepared, fluent in English, confident, and charismatic. Meanwhile, Za still stumbled over words, his voice thick with the rural accent, and mispronunciations made him feel like an outsider. For the first time, Za deeply felt the gap between himself and his peers, not just in skills, but in culture, mindset, and lifestyle. The feeling of alienation and insecurity quickly overwhelmed his spirit. Standing among a crowd of talented, hopeful, and energetic young people, Za felt clumsy, slow, and unable to fit in. He began to doubt himself and the educational dream he had once nurtured. Many times, tears almost fell as he thought about giving up everything, going back to the village, a simple but safe life. But deep in his heart, Za remembered the promise he quietly made to himself when he cried after failure. I must not give up. It was a small yet resilient flame burning steadily, fueling his strength each day. No matter how difficult it was, Za was determined to stand up, learn bit by bit, improve his pronunciation, hone his skills, and gradually integrate into the new environment. He understood that this challenge wasn't meant to defeat him, but to forge his willpower and prepare him for greater journeys ahead. Stepping out of the village, Za faced not only a new world, but also himself, his fears, insecurities, and loneliness. Yet those very things shaped his growth and inner strength to continue pursuing his dreams. Za learned that it's not the place that defines a person, but how they face and overcome life's challenges. Part 5. Relentless practice, overcoming oneself. Za never allowed fear or insecurity to slow down his journey. Every night, when the city was peacefully asleep, he sat alone in his small dorm room, under the faint light, tirelessly practicing English. He recorded his voice and patiently listened to every detail, discovering small mistakes in pronunciation, emphasis, and even intonation. He wasn't afraid of making mistakes. In fact, he accepted having to listen to the same recordings repeatedly to perfect every sound. There were moments of exhaustion and temptation to give up, but Za always reminded himself that failure is just a stepping stone to success, and giving up was never an option. He created challenges for himself, reading difficult passages aloud, practicing complex sentences, and mimicking the intonation of native speakers through English news, movies, and radio programs. At first, it was tough. He stumbled and faltered. But with persistence, day by day, Za's English became smoother, clearer, and steadily improved. From a boy with a rustic accent, Za gradually transformed into someone who could confidently communicate and convey ideas fluently in English. Beyond language, Za strived for academic excellence. His essays were no longer just grammatically correct, but filled with profound thoughts, creativity, and genuine emotion. He gained recognition from teachers and peers, becoming one of the top students in school, fueled by encouragement and motivation every day. All the previous hardships, mockery, and failures became invaluable motivation, pushing Za forward. The pinnacle of his efforts came when Za received his university acceptance letter with outstanding results, awarded a scholarship to study English education, the very dream he had nurtured since childhood. From a poor boy in a tiny village, Za had turned the impossible into reality, proving that no matter the starting point, with willpower and perseverance, nothing is insurmountable. Za's story is a vivid testament that the journey of overcoming oneself never ends, but constantly opens new doors. Every step forward not only transformed his own life, but also became a source of inspiration for countless others. especially young people struggling with hardship, failure, and self-doubt. Za proved that persistence, effort, and passion are the keys that unlock every door to success. Part 6. Becoming an Inspiration. A journey that changed lives. During his university years, Za embarked on a journey that transformed not only himself, but also ignited a flame of hope for countless young people in the impoverished rural area he once called home. Not everyone has the chance to receive a full education or access to valuable knowledge from beyond their world, but Za was different. He knew he was luckier than many, and that knowledge compelled him to do something greater for his community. Without a fancy studio or expensive equipment, armed only with an old phone and burning passion, Za began recording his English lessons, sharing them for free on YouTube. Za's first videos were crude, poor lighting, distorted sound, but every lesson carried his heart and a fierce belief that education could open the door to a new life for children just like he once was. Every time he received a comment from a child in a remote village saying, "Thank you, teacher, you helped me understand better," or "Because of you, I dare to dream big," Za's heart was fueled with renewed strength to keep going. Not stopping there, after graduating from university with outstanding results, once just a distant dream, Za returned home to open a free English class. It wasn't a classroom with modern desks or digital whiteboards, but a simple small room with a blackboard and old tables. Yet, in that humble space, Za created an environment filled with love, trust, and hope, where young children could learn, dare to dream, and step into a larger world. What impresses people isn't wealth or fame, but Za's heart and relentless perseverance. He teaches with all his heart, always reminding students that hardships aren't barriers, but challenges to grow stronger. Za truly became a living inspiration, a testament no matter how low the starting point, if you never give up, anyone can create extraordinary change. Za's story continues to echo, not just in his rural village, but spreading across the region, making everyone who hears it reflect on the power of dreams, persistence, and a heart eager to bring goodness to the world. Perhaps Za's journey is far from over, because the power of an inspirer is the ability to ignite flames in others' hearts, and those flames will burn forever, never going out. Part 7. Final message. Never gave up. Za's story is not just a tale of overcoming hardship, but a profound message about the power of will and self-belief. Looking back at the journey from a poor village boy to a teacher inspiring generations, we realize that never gave up is not just an empty slogan, but a powerful way of life that helps us conquer every obstacle. From Za's earliest days studying English by the dim light of an oil lamp, surrounded by doubt and ridicule from peers, those jeers could have extinguished his passion. Instead, Za transformed those wounds into fuel to push harder. He understood that as long as he did not give up or let anyone block his path, his dreams could come true. That is the power of belief. An invisible force that, once held, enables us to achieve the impossible. Za's journey is the clearest proof that faith and perseverance can change a life. The long nights spent practicing pronunciation in a shabby room, recording and correcting every small mistake, were solid steps toward success. Success does not come from luck, but from persistent effort and a determination to never back down despite challenges. This determination won Za a prestigious scholarship and brought him out of his poor village into a new modern world full of pressure. Feeling lost and insecure about his rural accent and limited skills did not stop him. Za knew that as long as he kept learning and improving, one day he would lead and make a difference. But Za did not stop at academic achievements. He wanted to spread a broader message. He became an inspiration, opening free English classes for village children and using his story to ignite dreams in their hearts. Every lesson, every teaching moment held faith in the future and those brave enough to dream and act. Za proved that no matter how low the starting point or how harsh the conditions, if we do not give up, we can shine brightly. This message is not just words, but a living testimony to thousands facing challenges. Some dreams, though small, can light up an entire village like a warm flame in the dark. Some people, no matter how dark their beginnings, can shine brilliantly if they never give up, if they keep faith and keep walking their chosen path. We all can learn from Za's story, not to compare or envy, but to find strength to overcome our own struggles. Maybe you are in a difficult place. Maybe you have failed, been laughed at, or felt like giving up. But in those moments, remember that perseverance and belief are your strongest weapons. When you refuse to quit, you've already won half the battle. Finally, Never Gave Up is not just Za's story. It is a message for all of us who face challenges daily, who fight within ourselves to reach our dreams. Keep your passion alive, hold your faith tight, and trust that no matter the hardship, you will find your own path. This is the deepest meaning behind the phrase, never gave up. Za's story is not just about overcoming hardship. It is a powerful testament to the strength of belief and perseverance. When you never give up, you can turn seemingly distant dreams into reality and achieve what once seemed impossible. Every small step is a victory, and every failure is a lesson that makes you stronger. Remember, no matter where you start from, as long as you never quit, you can become an inspiration to yourself and those around you. Thank you for listening to this inspiring story on Kunzy Podcast English. If Za's journey has motivated you, please hit the like button and share it so more people can be inspired. Don't forget to subscribe to Kunzy Podcast English to never miss more exciting and valuable stories. See you in the next episodes. Keep learning English and chasing your dreams.